All right, guys, thank you for joining me this morning. Appreciate it as always. All right, Mr. Landfill, thank you for the 5x5. Base Bunny, thank you for the 5x5. Sway, Kimberly, Celtic, Standalone, thank you for the 5x5. Standalone, good morning. Sorry. Joseph, Mitch, thank you for the 5x5. Standalone, Flown Grown, thank you for the 5x5. Stifler, thank you for the 5x5. Appreciate it, guys. All right. So today, obviously this is the midweek report. We're going to talk about things that happened, whether that was late last week or early this week. We're going to be talking about a couple things. Now, not obviously, but a lot of things. One of the bigger stories people are talking about is the trans shooting that happened at the ice skating rink in Rhode Island. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I do want to give a little bit of an update. I did a video on the Ring camera AI program that can look for pets. And also, I told you guys before that the Ring camera can also be used by police. And it has been in a bunch of cases. Now, one of the sources said 11 times. That is BS. If you look at a lot of the news clippings or footages out there, your Ring camera footage is being used anytime they need it. That being said, Amazon canceled their partnership with the surveillance technology company called Flock Safety regarding its Ring camera system. Now, Flock Safety was the company that Ring camera was using. Now, Amazon bought out Ring camera, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago. Fun fact, Fun Camera was on Shark Tank years ago, and Shark Tank turned it down. It wound up being a multi-billion-dollar company or million-dollar company, and the Shark guys regret it. They said later on when they brought the guy back on the show as a gazillionaire, a couple of them regret not buying his camera system. Anyway, nonetheless, he made it. And now Amazon, I'm pretty sure, bought out Ring camera, and Ring camera was using this Flock Safety people for the program. And after the commercial was played at the Super Bowl, the pushback was insane, and a lot of people wind up discontinuing their service from Ring. And then the backlash was so great, Amazon had to do something. So instead of telling Flock Safety to pull it back a little bit, they just completely dissolved their relationship with them. So that's a little bit of a update. Amazon has canceled a planned partnership with surveillance technology company Flock Safety regarding its Ring camera system. This decision follows significant privacy concerns and backlash regarding a Super Bowl ad that highlighted Ring's as reported by the New York Times, search party feature. The canceled deal, the partnership would have allowed Ring cameras to integrate with Flock Safety, enabling users to more easily share footage with law enforcement through community request. The backlash, and keep in mind, the community request is just them asking, but if witness something and it was an egregious crime, they're just going to pull the footage. So just keep that in mind. And for those people who have it in your home, I do not understand why that's even a thing. Again, I've watched enough people, like, oh, I'm watching my kids from home. Why? Like, just go home and watch them. I don't know. It's a bizarre thing to do, especially being that it could be hacked into. And apparently, upon researching the stuff, Ring cameras have been hacked into. They're because they're the more popular camera, they've been hacked into, but they've hid those stories throughout the years. And nothing crazy happened other than people were watching people inside their homes or just watching their front door view, if you will. But yeah, you can still get your shit hacked into. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the man that shot his wife and 2 kids at the ice skating rink. For those of you that's seen the video, you really can't see the wife or kid get murked, but you can see him pointing a weapon in their direction. Anyway, Man shoots wife and two children in ice skating rink in front of a bunch of people. That a bunch of people. Anyway, a shooting at a Rhode Island ice rink on Monday left two people dead, including the suspect, four others injured during a domestic violent altercation, turning deadly. Now, apparently, this guy was a psych patient. I mean, we all know that, right? When I get to the bottom of the story, I'll let you know. I think I know what's going on with these trans people. Outside of the obvious that they're nut jobs, there's something else going on, and maybe they should start questioning this. But anyway, the gunshots rang out at Dennis M. Lynch Arena in Pawtucket, if I said that right, during a hockey game between the Coventry and Blackstone Valley School. Sources with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm and ATF told Fox News that the shooting stemmed from a domestic violence incident turning into a murder-suicide. The source said the gunman killed his wife, shot two of his kids before turning the gun on himself. He shot his third child, who is currently hospitalized. Now, they said two people, including him. I guess there was an 11-year-old girl that was involved in here. I can't get the clarity on that one. I'm not sure if that was his kid or just somebody in the stand. Anyway, the sources said the gunman. All right, so an employee at a nearby Walgreens told news outlet that people came into the pharmacy panicking, saying that there was a shooting. All the students on the hockey team, both hockey teams, were accounted for and safe. District officials were notified of the situation while the team has the arena and immediately began coordinating with event staff, law enforcement, yada, yada, yada. So, there's a problem with this whole trans thing, right? The whole Canadian thing, that was a trans shooter. These kids, and this guy was an old ass man, by the way. This is why the wife left him. The wife he killed, left him because of his transition. Right? So the meds that they're putting these people on are absolutely fucking with their brains. I grew up in New York City. I grew up around trans people for my entire life, right? Did I know any of them personally? No. But we grew up in a city where you deal with, homos and trans people. And trans people never behaved like this back in the days, not the old school. And a lot of them just wanted to be left alone. They wanted to do their bullshit and be left alone. What we're seeing is the medication that no one's questioning. This has to be scrambling their brains and making matters worse. Nonetheless, it's an issue that needs to be addressed because this is a growing problem. Now, apparently, this shooter had a Instagram video or something where he talked about be careful, like in a roundabout way, be careful pissing us off. If you do, if we're going to rise up, and when we rise up, you're not going to like it. Something in that regards. And anyway, that was the day before or 2 days before the shooting. Right? So it's a problem. Anyway, Rhode Island shooter Robert Dorgan's daughter says, killer dad rampage fueled by vendetta against his family. We were the targets. Daughter of crazed transgender killer Robert Dorgan has claimed her dad's ice hockey arena attack was fueled by a vendetta against his family. Before revealing she feared her son would be caught up in this heartless rampage. I just want to make sure people understand this one person vendetta against the family. We were a target. This was very specific. It wasn't random. Draga was armed with a Glock 10mm and a 6-hour P226 weapon as he sadistically went about his rampage during the high school hockey game. He killed his adult son. Okay, during a hockey game targeting Rhode Island, where he killed his adult son. Apparently his kids were adults. I thought they were like younger than that, but he killed his son and he killed his wife. Like I said, I wasn't aware of how old his kids were. They made it sound like they were smaller. But anyway, not the point. The point, guys, is that this is a growing trend. This guy apparently had psych issues. If you looked at him or looked at the images of him on the internet, there's clearly something off, right? Again, I think it was the medications. But I mean, listen, you already have a psychological problem. Then you're taking a medication that's compounding that psychological problem. Right. Pinch Runner said Ring was horrifically hacked in May 2024. My friend had a man speaking through the toddler cam in his bedroom while he was supposed to be napping. Kid was terrorized at nap time, and now you know why. Now they know why. All right. But anyway. All right. So moving right along. Now, this is another ongoing problem. This is one of the reasons why, like, when I was in my dating phase back in the day, I didn't do shit like Craigslist dating and all that other shit, because I heard horror stories on people going on Craigslist dating, especially this one kid, probably about 10 years ago, was his girlfriend left to go to Florida. He went to go meet up with some chick, but instead the chick had a guy there. They were looking to rob them. The robbery went wrong, and they killed the kid. Right? And so this new problem, I've been tracking for a while, and so now there's an article that finally came to a head. Man 18 shot in the head, pregnant woman stabbed 70 times. How Facebook marketing deals are going wrong, or turning deadly, excuse me. Facebook marketplace deals are turning deadly with 2 people murdered this year trying to sell items. Now that's this year. Last year, and I don't understand this, guys. You're going to sell some shit. If they want your shit, they should just take your shit. But instead, they're raising the stakes and killing and burning people. There was a lady who kidnapped a little boy. Some kid, I forgot where it was, because I couldn't get past the part that she kidnaps the kid and then realizes that I guess they messed up and then tortures the kid, right? They burn the kid. Anyway, on January 27, Illinois teen Nadis Barakas allegedly stabbed a 30-year-old pregnant woman, mom Eliza Morales, 70 times before setting her house on fire. That was because she was trying to sell something to this kid. If you're gonna sell something to somebody on Facebook Market, meet them at a neutral ground, not in your home. Now, granted, if it's a bookshelf or some shit you're trying to get rid of, then make sure you have people there. Do not do it by yourself. That's the easiest solution to the whole problem. Especially if you're a woman. I know a lot of women are like, I'm fierce and strong and hear me roar bullshit. Fuck that. Psych patients are always going to do some heinous shit. Figure it out. Have somebody come over, meet in a neutral place, have your neighbor come over if you have to, right? Have the police, some police places might help you out with this. They might not, but don't do it by yourself, because this is turning into a problem. This has been a problem for the last few years. Anyway, Rekafas, 19, I think he was like European or something. He had a very European giant head thing going on, whose cop says confessed to the crime, was dissatisfied with a red 1994 Ford Ranger pickup truck he purchased from Morales' husband through Facebook Market a week prior. Rekafas is waiting trial and has yet to enter a plea. Imagine the guy was unhappy with his truck. If the truck probably broke down or some shit, but to take it out on the wife is insane. The shit's insane. Like, you fucked up, you won't give me my money back? Go after the husband. Why would you stab the woman 70 times? Like that, you reserve that for the man. Granted, the kid was probably a pussy. He said, I'm going to go after the weaker target. And, yeah. But again, the wife wasn't home when this shit went down. The husband wasn't home when this went down. A few days earlier, January 23rd, decorated Marine and pastor Michael Ryan Burke, 42, was gunned down in Columbia, Missouri home. He used his final breath to text his mother and sister, I'm dying, I love you. Oh shit. 4 people who had been on the marketplace phone stealing spree in the area were arrested and charged with second-degree murder. One of them responded to Burke's ad listing for the iPhone 15 sale. 3 of those charged were adults who pleaded not guilty and are awaiting trial. The 4th is a juvenile. Status is unknown. Victims say Marketplace, a free built-in section a Facebook platform where any users can any user with a profile can buy and or sell is rife with scams. Now, I go on Facebook Marketplace to look for things like kettlebells and shit, and I went to a guy's home in Jersey to pick up some kettlebells. And I was just baffled with the fact that he didn't meet me somewhere. He had me go to his home. Now, granted, he might have been strapped. I don't know. And it's irrelevant to me because I was there to buy the kettlebells. But, he had his garage open. He had kettlebells as far as the eye can see. I'm going to go pick some more up from him in another week or so. But it's just insane that a lot of people are that trustworthy. Now, granted, you look on somebody's profile, they go, oh, okay. Like with my profile, I think it says I'm a firefighter and shit like that. Maybe he looked at it and he was like, okay. And that's why he did what he did. I don't know. But, I also bought a camera from a kid who won a Sony A7R III. He won the camera at a contest. He wound up selling it. We met at a bank. When we did the transaction, he took the money and immediately deposited inside the ATM, which was a really smart move. So now if I was going to roll him for the money and the camera, there was no cash on him. I was like, that was a very smart move. So granted, guy, another idea, you're going to meet somebody to sell something. As soon as they give you the cash, right into the ATM. Now they can't rob you, right? Plus, if I'm not mistaken, I think they can also scan to see if the money is counterfeit. There's also that, right? So keep that in mind. Mike Hawk, I don't know if you're being an asshole or you're just a general asshole, but I don't know why you think that's funny. Anyway, moving right along. So, guys, I spoke about this before. Apparently, ICE is gearing up to build mega jails. Not jails. ICE is spending $38 billion on this project. ICE is planning to spend tens of billions of dollars on mega prisons where agencies can disappear thousands of people. Now, that's a little dramatic, but I find it interesting that, again, nationally, crime's going down. Why are we building mega prisons? Not jails. I'm sorry, not not little jails, not little prisons, mega jails and prisons. And I think that's an alarming situation. If Trump is touting the national crime is going down and things are getting better nationally, why are we building these mega prisons or jails? That's a problem. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, listen, UpTech, FEMA camps or something, right? Or FEMA run jails. They should just say that. But if I think something bigger is going on or something bigger is going to happen. This has nothing to do with immigrants at this point. It has nothing to do with them. Because the amount of immigrants that are running around, there's still not enough to build mega prisons. And there's not enough to spend $38 billion. Actually, $38.3 billion to build new detention centers. And supposedly they're state-of-the-art at that. Because in all my dreams, I wanted to stay in a state-of-the-art prison. Anyway, I think this has something to do with the whole you talk out against Israel, because they're looking to, there's a lot of calls from Israel supporters, there's a lot of calls to quell your speech. If you talk out against Israel, they want to take your YouTube channel or social media account. They want to demonetize you. They want you to go to jail in some cases, especially if you're speaking misinformation, right? So again, very interesting. In a memo shared with New Hampshire Governor Kelly Abbott, ICE outlined its $38.3 billion plan to launch a new detention center model that would expand the agency's detention capabilities by 92,000 beds by the end of 2026 fiscal year. This effort aims to meet a growing demand for bed space and streamline the detention and removal process, focusing on non-traditional facilities built specifically to support ICE needs, the memo states. The model includes an acquisition and renovation of 8 large-scale detention centers and 16 processing sites, as well as acquisitioning of 10 existing turnkey facilities where ICE ERO already operate. The large-scale processing centers, also called mega centers, would have between 7,000 to 10,000 detainees for a period averaging less than 60 days, and serve as the site of international removals. Other processing facilities would have between 1,000 and 1,500 detainees for between 3 to 7 days. All right. Again, if you're moving these people around in this manner that fast, you don't need to build any more prisons. So something is up. Crematorium. The Watchmen. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube, by the way, guys, YouTube just changed its their policy. So you're allowed to talk about like sexual assault now. You're allowed to talk about diddling of kids and things of that manner, as long as you don't advocate for it. Right? So that's why I noticed that I've been saying a little more, and I've been skirting the line. Well, I just found out the other day I'm not skirting the line. They just sort of lifted a lot of the bans, and they've been bringing a lot of channels back as per the new policy of 2026. So a lot of channels were able to come back online because of that. You can even talk about the vaccine. Again, as long as you don't go bananas on it. So keep that in mind if you're looking to start a channel or anything like that. Anyway, current country's largest immigration facility is Camp East, Montana, that holds 5,000 beds, short-term tent facilities built at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. Wait a minute, sorry. Excuse me, conflating the two. Currently, the largest immigration detention facility is Camp East, Montana, a 5,000-bed short-term facility built, at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. With the first 50 days of operation, the facility had already racked up 60 federal code violations. The facility had failed to provide detainees with regular access to working toilets and showers, sustainable meals, and legal assistance, and failed to take mandatory and proper health care screenings. Now Donald Trump wants to build 8 more Camp East Montanas and make them even bigger. He's not even... Again, why was Obama, Clinton, and even Bush able to remove more illegal immigrants without all of this hoopla, without all of this fanfare? Yet Trump wants to build more. Again, keep in mind, Obama blew Trump out of the water with removing immigrants, and he didn't make it a big to-do. He just said, all right, little, Juan and Consuela, leave. And he took these people off the street, and he transported them back to the country. He didn't have to build more prisons. So something is clearly going on with this. I wholeheartedly believe Israel's behind this somewhere with the whole free speech thing. Again, they want us to stop talking about them. And for those of us that don't, there were a couple of Israeli dual citizenship politicians that want some of us in jail for speaking out against Israel. And anytime we speak out against Israel, they want to label it anti-Semitic, and then they want to have something done to us, whatever the hell that means. So I'm assuming that this has to be part of it. Like, this is the only thing I can think of, because this is insanity. This whole thing with the beds are insanity. I don't get it. But anyway, all that to say, guys, is that a lot of things that are going on, there are a lot of moving parts, and these parts are moving all together. I just think we need to be more abreast as to what's going on and stay in tune. Don't get scared. Don't start panicking. Don't start flipping out. Just keep in mind that things are going to get a lot worse. That's all we can do. especially with the people passing away, especially with the psych issues that are going on and growing. So listen, there was a representative's aide that set herself on fire because she was in some kind of love triangle cheating thing. So that was her out. She's like, oh shit, I got caught cheating. Let me light myself on flames. Something is not making sense. And so many more people are offering themselves in the most violent manner they can possibly find. I mean, just, the amount of people shooting themselves, for example, skyrocketing. The amount of people setting themselves on fire has already skyrocketed with 4 people or 3 people last year, I think it was. This year, I think that this lady did it in the beginning of January or some shit like that. But people are choosing the most violent way they possibly can. Diving headfirst into a fryer. I mean, taking bobbing for fries at a whole new level is insane. Just people are figuring out a way. They're like, how could I make a mess in my... I'll do, X, Y, and Z. It's bananas. And the guy that dived headfirst into the fryer, you're affecting other people because it's not like your coworkers are going to sit there and let you do this shit. They're not going to sit there and go, oh, let him fry himself to death. They're going to try to pull you out. And then 1 or 2 people got burned. The person that went to reach for him, I think it was a chick, she burned her hands pretty good. If my employee burned her hand saving for a guy, she would get disability right away. I mean, she would automatically get disability. I wouldn't even fight with her on it. I would have the insurance company give her the disability. She tried her best. The guy wound up dying anyway. But these people, the shit that's going on is insane. Well, listen, Mike. There's a lot of things we can't talk about, and it's going to get worse. But again, then YouTube just did what they did with their policy. So I don't know what's going on right now. But it is definitely selective censoring, that's for sure. The Lavender Project. Yes, for Watchmen. I looked it up. You mentioned that last week. I think you told me to look it up. I looked it up. Yeah, man. Listen, like I said, things are just out of control. And things are only going to get worse. The amount of people, like I said, offering themselves in a violent manner, we haven't seen anything yet, man. I'm just assuming that the arm ticket did a number on people's brains and people are just reacting poorly to whatever their situation is. In fact, I saw a video. I could not believe what I was watching. I've been watching a lot of videos. I think some of these videos are rage bait. I'm not sure. But this one guy was transgender, and he was arguing with his doctor because his doctor... he wanted his doctor to freeze his eggs. And so the doctor's like, but I can't. You don't have any. Yes, I do. I have a uterus. You can find some egg. Like, he got into an argument, and I think he wants to sue the doctor. I'm pretty sure that's what it came down to. You can't make this shit up. You can't... even if I was racking my brain with writer's block, I couldn't come up with some fantastical shit like this. Arguing with your doctor about taking your eggs? It's people like that need to go to the insane asylum. Seriously. And I want to freeze my eggs so I can have kids down the line. Even if I could find these magical fucking eggs, where would I put the baby? Like, this is where we are. This is our life. Stupidville. Right? And fucking these people are running a communistic Stupidville. I mean, I heard of fucking like nuttery, but this is fucking bad, man. This is bad. Arguing with your doctor about this shit. Freeze my eggs. And I'm pretty sure, and here's the problem. When I joined EMS, I used to drive an ambulance, right? So from 2000 to 2004, I drove an ambulance. when we were in EMS Academy, right? We were in the EMS Academy. We were told never to feed into psych patients' bullshit. Never play along with them. It's the worst thing to do. It. You don't want to patronize them, but you don't want to play into their nonsense, right? You don't want to pander to them, because it grows their bullshit. I forgot the term I'm looking for, but anyway, you don't want to fucking just placate to their shit, right? It's bad for them. You don't want to sit there and go, oh, look at the pink elephant sitting in a room, and then the guy's going, yeah, the pink elephant in the corner, his name is John. Like, you don't want to like, oh, hey, John. You don't want to do that. You never want it. It was always a bad idea. 2026, we're playing into people pretending to be the opposite sex, right? And so now we're playing into it, but now this doctor was probably playing into this bullshit, and then this guy took it too far. And then he's like, well, now, since you think I'm a woman, can you freeze my eggs? This is what happens when you play into the bullshit. This is what happens when you encourage their nonsense. Now and granted, guys, the lawsuit's going to get kicked. It's absolutely going to get kicked, because even the most liberal lawyer and judge has to look at this and go, we can't do this. This is why you do not encourage the psych patients and their bullshit. This kind of shit. And this is only going to get worse. You got to talk to them like, listen, dude, you're a fucking dude. You're a dude with a dick. You're on medications, that's it. This is why I'm a firm believer that the medications is fucking their brain over. I'm a firm believer that it has to be the hormones they're on that are screwing with their brains. Has to be. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go off the air now. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it as always. I will see some of you guys tomorrow for the doubleheader. Outside of that, guys, thank you for watching.